Hey guys, it's Marshall from Going Gear, and today we're going to talk about some new lights from JETBeam. Got the PA10 PC10 PC20. Now, since all these come with the same accessories and packaging and all that kind of stuff, I already took the PA10 and PC10 out of the packaging. We have the PC20 here. We'll go and set these two to the side, bring them back out in just a second, but we'll use the PC20 to show you what you get. So as you can tell, it comes in a really nice case, got some good information on the front. For instance, this one is 410 ANSI lumens, and that's powered by two CR123 batteries. If you want to see the full specs for any of these, we always have that kind of information on our website. I usually don't go over it in detail in the video. So, other stuff that you get in here, you have the warranty information card, and then you have the user manual. Always recommend reading these. Really good information in there. Lots of specification information. You have the interface for it, which is always worth a read because some of these can get kind of complicated. So definitely take a look at that. Warranty service if you ever happen to need that. Pretty pictures on the front and back. So you have the light itself. Set that to the side, and the other stuff that you get, again, all three of these lights come with the same stuff. So here's a lanyard, nice olive drab lanyard. Pull this out. You also have a spare tail cover cap if you ever happen to replace that. I usually don't hang on to lights for long enough to do that, but I know some of you guys are rough on your lights, so if you ever happen to need that, that is in there, and a couple of spare O-rings if you ever happen to need those. The holster that it comes with, they all come with a really nice holster. They do a really good job on these, but it's a nice heavy-duty nylon one. As you can tell, it's kind of hard to get in there with the pocket clip on there because not many people are going to be using it with the pocket clip. So we're going to pop the pocket clip off, slide it in there. You can see it protects the head, it protects the tail. You have the closure on the top that attaches with the hook and loop carabiner attachment point, or however else you want to use that to attach. More hook and loop on the back, so you have a couple ways to attach it to your belt or pack or however else you want to attach it. And you can actually use it with the pocket clip if you have it on there. You slide it in head first. You can see it's kind of a tight fit, but you can get it to go on there if you really want to. But not many people will be using both the pocket clip and the holster. So I don't think they really designed them to work together all that well, which makes sense. Alright, so we'll set that to the side. Got all the lights here. So PC20, PA10, PC10 in order of size. And there's a fourth light in this series. There's also the PA20, which I have right here, but I did a separate review on it, and the reason is these three lights are all using the CREE XM-L LED, and they'll work with lithium-ion batteries. This one is using the much smaller CREE XPG LED, and it's only compatible with alkaline or nickel metal hydride batteries. So it's a lower output, but the batteries are a lot easier to find, and still a great light, just kind of different in function and form. But you can see on the inside the difference in the size of the LED. So you got your XPG over here, XML over here. So there's another review on this on the PA20 if you happen to want to see that. But these lights are pretty similar, so I decided to put these all in the same review since they have the same interface and everything. So again, PC10, PA10, PC20. PC10 is powered by either a CR123 battery or a rechargeable lithium-ion version of a CR123, which is called a 16340, or an RCR123. JETBeam loves their silica gel. So we're going to go and slide that. Actually, we'll show you the inside of that. We're going to go and slide that in there. And normally I don't really mention on the smaller lights the like the RCR123s or the 16340s or the AA equivalent of a lithium-ion battery, which is a 14500. The reason is I personally don't really use them all that much myself. You know, they're usually a lot lower capacity. Like this is a 750 milliamp battery, which is a high-quality lithium-ion battery, but a comparable like a Sanyo Eneloop will be around 2,000 milliamp hours, and you can get even higher. The big advantage of these is if a light's compatible with it, and these definitely are, you can get some incredible output with them. So the voltage and the higher voltage and the lower capacity usually even out, but I just find myself using things like the Sanyo Eneloops a lot more. But these lights, like I said, were specifically made to handle these. So in this review, we're actually going to put a 14500 in here instead of just a regular Sanyo Eneloop. But when we go outside, we'll show you both just so you can see how big of a difference it makes. And actually, the AA version, the PA10, with the 14500 is the highest output out of the three of these. So if you look on the front, they all have the max ANSI lumens. So you're at 410 on the PA20. The PA10, you're at 650 ANSI lumens using that 14500, which is crazy output. And then the PC10, you're at 550 lumens, and that's using a 16340, not a CR123. CR123 output is going to be lower. And again, you'll see that when we go outside. So, got batteries in the two of these. We'll go ahead and put one or two in the PC20 as well. So we got two CR123s. Keep on forgetting those silica gel packets. Alright, got two CR123s, just two Surefire CR123s. And go and put those in there. And this is compatible with lithium ion batteries as well. Not 18650s or 17670s. Which I'll open it up and show you. Not a whole lot of extra room around there. It's made to take either two CR123s or two RCR123s. So any of the larger cells do not work very well in here. Alright, so there's the lights side by side. We'll zoom in just so you can see them a little bit better. Show you the different features of them and everything. And they do all come with pocket clips. I just don't have the pocket clip on the PC10. So there's the LED end. You've got that big CREE XM-L LED. Nice smooth reflector, so they should have some decent throw for their size. Not going to be fantastic just because of the large LED, but not too bad. And then you have the switch on the end. Since everyone always asks, these cannot tail stand. The button protrudes a little bit too far, but these are designed as tactical lights, so that's usually not a concern when they're making tactical lights, is whether or not they can tail stand. But you can see really similar machining and design on all of these, but obviously different sizes just due to the battery types. But you're going to have same reflectors, same LEDs, same switches on all three. It's just going to be the batteries that they're going to be compatible with. They're going to make the big difference. Alright, so the interface on these, same interface that if you already saw the PA20 video, same interface on there. So we're going to use the PC10 to show you the interface. So when the head is tightened, lightly press that tail switch or click it all the way for constant on, and you've got your max output. As long as that head is tightened, it's always going to be max output. It's not going to switch modes on you. No matter how many times you hit that switch, you're always going to have that max output. So it's nice and reliable. Now if you want to get the lower outputs, you can do this while the light is on or off. You can loosen the head, hit that switch, and you can see it drops into some other modes. And to get to the different modes, this is the user defined. You just quickly turn it off and on, and you can do that by just slightly pressing it or turn it all the way off and on. And the different modes that you have are three different outputs. You have a really obnoxious strobe. This one is really bad. I can tell you from personal experience, it's shining into my eyes. That's what the whole point of strobe is to disorient somebody, and it does it really well. And then you have SOS as well. So you've got the three different outputs and then the two flashing modes. So, user defined. When you tighten the head, it's going to be max output. When you loosen the head, it's going to go back into the last mode you had it in. So as long as you're not quickly turning it off and on, you're going to have that last mode that you turned it on in. So if we leave it off for a few seconds, turn it back on, it's going to go back into this lowest output. That's the one I had it in before. So nice interface. You can set up the light exactly how you want it. You can see, as long as I'm not hitting that switch, that user defined stays in place. Like I said, same interface on all three of these. One note real quick is that if you are using RCR123 in the PC10 or 14500 in the PA10, you lose your modes. So that's the trade-off for getting this crazy high output in such a small light. You lose your modes. So you can see loosening the head does not drop it into the other outputs. Turning it off and on doesn't do anything. It's always going to be that incredible 650 lumens out of this little light. So kind of a trade-off. If you want to get that max output, you lose all your modes, but then you do get a really high output light in a relatively compact size. So again, same interface on the PC20, PC10, and PA10. So we're going to go and take these outside, and we'll show you how all three of them do outside, and I'll bring a few extra batteries with me so I can show you how they do with the different battery types. Okay, we have the three JETBeams out here. Big 40 mag light that I always use. Let's go and try the mag light out first. Little bush at 15 feet, tree out there at 100 feet. You can see how tightly focused you have to get any kind of decent distance. But you're lighting up such a small area at once, which is a big drawback of the focused lights like this. So let's try out the PC10 first. There you can see the greatly increased output that you can get. Modern LED, modern batteries, and all that kind of stuff. So not only are you lighting up what's in the center, but you're lighting up everything as well around it. This is called the spill. Center bright part is the hot spot. So 15 feet, obviously no problem. 100 feet, obviously no problem. You'll see in a little bit, even further, that is no problem. And just so you can see what it does up close, there you can see on the lowest output, it is enough to light up what's going on in front of you, which is pretty nice. And then I'm actually going to cycle through different outputs, just so you can see what they look like. But usually people are just interested in that one, which is high. Alright, let's try out the PC20 next, see how it does. There you can see even more output on this, really similar beam. So it's going to be a nice clean beam, nice big hot spot, really bright spill around it. Up close, no problem. Distance, no problem at all. And the lower modes are going to be similar to what you saw on the PC10. Alright, so here is the 14500 in a PA10. So there you can see AA light putting out this kind of output. So even brighter than the other two. I'll shine it around a little bit just so you can see what kind of output you can get with the lithium-ion batteries. You're actually going to get pretty similar performance in the PC10 with the 16340. So you can use this as a benchmark. It's going to be a little bit off, but for all intents and purposes, if you put them side by side, that's really only when you notice a major difference. But crazy output, and I'm going to stick a regular AA in here in just a second just so you can see what that looks like, but that's what it does with a 14500. Let's try out a regular AA real quick. Alright, got a Sanyo and a loop in there now. There you can see how much lower the output is. I mean, it's still really high, still much better than the mag light, but you can see that massive difference that that 14500 makes. I'll shine it around a little bit. And you can see this better here in just a second. We're going to try this at a longer distance just to show you how big of a difference there is. But there it is with just a regular AA battery, Sanyo and a loop. So let's go and try a longer distance. Okay, we've got some more distance to work with. Got that 40 mag light. My house at about 50 yards. Tree in the front yard at 100 yards. Can't really see out there. It makes it out there okay. Not great. Obviously not a wide degree of illumination. So here's the PA10 with just a Sanyo and a loop. You can see 50 yards does pretty well. Even out to 100 yards actually does alright. Definitely does better than the mag light. Top of that tree, you can see out there pretty well. Really impressive using a Sanyo and a loop. Usually lights this size. Using a AA, do not make it out even remotely that far. So pretty impressive. But so that's it with the Sanyo and a loop. I'm going to put a 14500 in here just so you can see what it can do. Okay, got a 14500 in the PA10, got the PC10 and the PC20 as well. Here's going to be the PA10 with that 14500. There you can see the increased output that you get with that 14500 in the PA10. So the top of the tree lit up even better. Everything around it lit up really well. Definitely no question about what's going on out there. I'll shine it around a little bit just so you can see. But nice wide beam on this, lights up a whole lot at once. Let's try out the PC10. There's the PC10. Still not bad. Using a single regular CR123, still lights up everything really well. Shine it around a little bit. Zoom into the top of that tree. Still lit up pretty well. That's the PC10. Again, you can see how small that guy is. Pretty good distance on such a compact light. Here's the PC20. So again, out to the top of the tree, lit up pretty well. At a distance, a lot of these lights are going to look pretty similar just because they have relatively small reflectors and really large LEDs, so that combination makes it generally not good for distance, but you can see they go out to 100 yards without too much trouble, so not bad at all. Alright, so there you go. That's the JETBeam PA10 PC10 PC20. If you like any of those lights, you can get them from us at goinggear.com. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach us in the comments or at goinggear.com. If you like the video, be sure to subscribe. Just one last quick note about the lithium batteries. Again, do your research on them. Be aware of the dangers. Be aware that the light can overheat really quickly with it in it. But you can see you do get better output with them. Alright.